show that x squared plus 6x equals 1. First point here is that we're talking about area and we're talking about square. So how do we find the area of a square? Right, so area of a square is the base times the height. But because the base and the height is the same, you can say it's base squared or height squared, right? So in this case, we need to ask ourselves, what is the base of the square, right? So this is our base here. And you can see that the base is 3 plus x. So 3 plus x, right? And what is the height of the square, right? Once you know the base, you know the height because it's a square and the base and the height will be the same, right? But we're still going to label it as the height. And the height is 3 plus x. Right. Different ways to approach this. We can just find the area just using the diagram they've given us, right? So you could do this. Literally just find the areas of the sections. So if we look at this section over here, right, you can see that that's a 3 by 3. So we've got 3 times 3, which is 9. And if we look at this section here, you can see that's 3 by x. So you've got 3 times x, which is 3x. Right, and then we're up to this section, which is x times 3. So we've got x times 3, which again is 3x. And finally, we've got this last section here, which is x by x. So we've got x times x, which is x squared. Right, so we can put all this together. So we will need these terms here. So what we're writing out is that the area is 9 plus 3x plus 3x plus x squared. Now, if we tidy this up, you tend to put the term with the highest power first, and then the ones with the variable, and then constant last. So this would look like this. Area equals x squared. Now we can combine these two because they're like terms. They both have just x's on them. So we can write those two as plus 6x, and then we have plus 9. Right, we're starting to look similar to what they've given us in the question. So now we see the x squared showing up, and we see the 6x. Yeah? Right, we haven't finished because we've got one more information in the question. It tells us that the area is 10 centimeters squared. So we're going to go back to our equation here and substitute the 10 centimeters. So instead of writing area, I'm literally going to put the number 10 there. So I'm going to say 10 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Right, we want it to look as much as possible like this here. So which means I am going to move my constant, this number here, to my right hand side. So I'm going to rewrite all of this as, so I'm going to write it underneath here so we can compare them. So we've got x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 10. So I've simply moved the 10 from the left hand side of the equation to the right hand side, yeah? Right, so I've just swapped the positions of the terms. Now, this is starting to look similar to this, except on the original equation, those are the only two things we have on the left-hand side, right? So we need to move this to the other side, basically, of the equation. And what would happen when you do that? Well, how we can do that is by taking away the 9 here. We don't want the 9 on this side. But if I take away the 9 from the left-hand side, so this is my left-hand side, because that's the equation now. That's the equal to sign, and this is my right-hand side. Right, so if I'm taking 9 from the left-hand side, I need to take 9 from the right-hand side as well. So this equation then becomes x squared plus 6x equals, what's 10 take away 9? 1. And you can see now that that looks exactly like the equation that we've been given. So that's basically your proof. It's just said, prove that if we work out the area of this, that it will simplify to this, and we've just done that. Anytime you have a question that's asking you to show or prove, the best or the fastest way to do it is just to solve the question, is to work through the question and see if you can get to the answer they've provided. This question might not look like it, but this is actually a question about expanding two brackets, because in order to find the area of the square, what we've basically done is 3 plus x times 3 plus x, right? And if you wanted to, you could have used the FOIL method or claw or any other method to do the expansion. So that would look like this. So you got 3 times 3, 3 times x, x times 3, x times x, and you still get the same answer. You still end up at the same place we've got. But for me, for this question, I will just do it this way and write the answers in the individual sections and put them together. If you found this video useful, then you should watch this one next. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.